Welcome to the Java series. In this first video, we are going to see what are the different components in the Java, JVM, JRE and JDK, what JVM does and what is a JRE and what it contains and what are the advantages and how to use the JRE and what is JDK and what components are involved in it and how the JDK would be helpful, what are the different development tools in it. We'll look into that each and every component and then we'll understand how a Java works. And we know that the Java is a platform independent. How it becomes a platform independent? How this is different from the platform dependent programming languages such as C or C++. In this video, I'll explain you the JVM, JDK, JRE and how it is a platform independent and whether the JDK, JRE, JVM are platform dependent or a platform independent. Let's start from the first one, JVM, JRE and JDK. Let us understand the JVM first. JVM is a Java virtual machine. So this particular JVM will help us to run the bytecode. So which means once we have compiled our code, it gets generated a bytecode from the source code to a bytecode, and Java virtual machine converts the bytecode to a machine understandable language, so some executable file. This is a virtual machine where our program will get executed. This name says it is a JVM, it's a Java virtual machine. What it actually does, it is basically an abstract machine, so that is why it physically it doesn't exist on the machine. You cannot see a JVM in your machine, whereas you can see a JRE and JDK. So JVM is an abstract machine which physically doesn't exist on the machine, but if you want to run any Java program, JVM is a must. So that is where you are going to execute, because JVM triggers the main method in your program. So this is a very key. A JVM converts your bytecode to a machine understandable language and it loads the source code, provide a runtime to execute. So this is the runtime. So virtual machine, Java virtual machine is a runtime which provides the runtime to run your Java program. Okay. JVM is an abstract machine which doesn't exist physically on your laptop. It functions, provides a runtime to execute your Java program. That is what JVM does. Now let's look at the JRE. JRE is a Java runtime environment. JRE consists of a JVM plus some libraries, like let's say some class libraries or components to run applets and application. Let us keep this as like a JRE consists of a JVM plus some libraries or some other components. So it is JRE is a runtime environment. Like let's say if you have a Java program, if you just want to run in your machine, if you have a JRE, that is enough to run the program, because it is a Java runtime environment. It has the required libraries and the components to execute the program. Whereas if you simply have a JRE and if you want to develop an application, you cannot do that, because JRE doesn't have a compiler, a debugger, a Java doc or required applet tools to develop the application. This is just a runtime environment. You can execute the Java program. Some you have a program which already has been written in the Java program and you want to run the machine. If you just download the JRE, in the JRE you would be having the JVM plus the libraries required to run a program. That's a runtime environment. So you are good to do that. Instead of having the JDK, having with a JRE, which internally consists of a JVM plus the required libraries, we should be good to run a program. And apart from these two, there are two key components are being involved, are there in the JRE. They are Java Web Start and Java Plugin. How these two components will help us? These are deployment technologies are part of the JRE. Java plugin that enables applets to run in a browser. So if you want to run an applet on a browser, so Java has a plugin in the JRE that will help us to run the that specific applet on a web browser. And the next component, a Java Web Start. This will help us to deploy some standalone applications over our network. Let me mention those two in the diagram. Java plugin, Java Web Start. Okay, these two are being part of the JRE. And so now you can see JVM plus required libraries, and we have a Java plugin and Java Web Start. This Java plugin and Java Web Start will help us. They are like a deployment technologies, either over a web browser or a network. They will help us to do. That is the function of a JRE. If you want to run a specific program in the machine and you are not going to develop any applets or an application, JRE is enough. You can download the JRE, which automatically gets the JVM into your machine, though that is physically not existing, but that will run. That will be a part of a JRE, and that provides the environment to run the program, and it reads the bytecode and converts into the machine understandable language to run that particular bytecode. Okay, that is the functionality of the JRE. Now let's go to the JDK. If you look at this particular image, the JDK has the JRE plus development tools. It is a dev tools. What are the different dev tools? I can say it's a compiler, debugger. Let me note it down. And one more I can say Javadoc. Okay, these are the different tools that comes with the JDK, and they will help us to develop the application. And one more thing, it's an applet viewer, since as we are talking about an applets, this is also being part of the JDK tool. That is a development tools which comes with the JDK. Okay, and let me mention bytecode to machine language. This is performed by a JVM. Okay, and JVM is an abstract machine. Now hope you understand what is a JVM, what is JRE, and what is JDK. If you want to develop a program, develop some application or an applet in the machine, you need to have a JDK, because JDK have the development tools such as compiler, debugger, Javadoc, applet viewer, and there are so many different the dev tools which are being part of the JDK. If you just want to run a program, you need to have a JRE. That is more than enough to run a program, because that is Java runtime environment. It has JVM plus the required libraries to run a program. And a JVM is an abstract machine which you physically you can't see, but that provides the runtime to execute a program. Okay, these are the three components, and what are the libraries involved, and what are the functions that JVM, JRE, and JDK performs. Hope you are clear with this concept. And now let's understand how Java works and how it becomes a platform independent. Before we go on discuss about a platform independent, let us understand what is this JDK. Is this a platform independent or a platform dependent? What about a JRE, and what about a JVM? See, when you download and install the Java, you might have seen like uh, have a different downloadable file for Windows, and there is a separate package like you download JDK, Linux, and Mac. So all are three different files that you download and you install the Java in three different platforms. how it becomes an independent then? It is a dependent, right? So JVM, JRE, JDK, they are dependent. They are platform dependent. So for Windows, you need to get the Windows Java, and for Linux machine, you need to get the Java for the Linux, and at the same time for the Mac also, you need to get the specific Java for a Mac. You can't get the Java for Windows into the Mac and execute and install the Java. So it is a platform dependent. Okay, you can ask me a question: when JVM, JRE, JDK are a platform dependent, how this particular language is become a platform independent? Let's look at this diagram. If you see this structure, the hierarchy, how your program, that what you write it on a notepad or an Eclipse or an IntelliJ, or writing some Java program, how that executes and what happens when you click a run. So if we have a Java program, there are two actions that we need to perform. One is a compile. You use a Java C and then the class name that converts that. When you do a compile, that converts your source code to a bytecode. What is your source code? It is a .java, right? When you write a file, a class, it is a .java. And once you do the Java compile, what is the command for the Java compile? It is a Java C, and you just mention, like, let's say you have a test, that is your class. What you do, you are going to Java C. Okay, this particular Java C, and this is test is my nothing but my class name. It has .java file, that is your source code, right? When you are creating a class, that is .java file, and when you are doing compiler, when you are compiling that particular .java, how you do? It's a Java C test. Assume this is test is this particular test is your test.java, that is your source code. And when you run Java C space test, you are really compiling that. See, Java C command, you are using Java C to compile the program that converts the source code to a bytecode, and at the same time, after the compilation, this particular .java file will be converted to a .class file. Extension of the file is a .class. Okay, hope you are getting. Here it is a .java, and once after you run this Java C test, after the compilation, it converts the source code to a bytecode, and the file extension is .class file will be created. This particular .class file will be understandable by JVM. And how you run that program? Once you do a compiler, once you compile the program, it's a bytecode generated, .class file is generated, and now to run the program, what command we use is just a Java space and a test. So whatever the class that we have, we are going to run that. When you run this Java test, JVM will load all the files which are required. Once it reads the bytecode, the JVM provides an environment and it converts the bytecode into the machine understandable language. It is a machine language, or it is an executable file. It converts .class file into an executable format or a machine readable format. Okay, now let us try to correlate how this particular the programming is a platform independent. Let's see. You are assume that you are working on a Windows machine. You are writing a program. A .java file is created, and you compile the program in the Windows machine. And you have the bytecode is generated .class file. And from this bytecode, we are at this particular stage. And from the bytecode, JVM understands the bytecode and it converts this from the byte to the machine readable language. Though if you compile the program in a Windows or you compile the program in a Linux or in a Mac, this particular source code is being converted to the bytecode. So that can be understandable by a JVM. Whenever you install a program in a Windows or a Mac or a Linux, JVM also will be a part of your installation, either with the JRE or with the JDK. So JVM knows how to convert a bytecode to the required format in an executable format. So JVM takes care of converting. Though JVM, JRE, JDK are a platform dependent, since you are converting your source code into a bytecode, you are not directly converting this particular source code into the executable format as if we do it in a C language. So this happens in the C. You will be directly compiling a source code and it creates an executable file instead of a byte and then the JVM reads, because this particular structure, converting a source code into a bytecode and reading the bytecode by a JVM and creates an executable format, makes the Java programming language as a platform independent. If we are directly compiling the source code to create an executable file on a Windows, definitely this executable file will not be run on another platform. Like let's see in a C language how it becomes, Assume this is your source code. This is your source code. This is your executable file. What happens when you do a compilation? There is no bytecode. There is no step of converting the bytecode. What this compiler does? This compiler converts the source code into an executable format. So directly this language will be understand by the platform where we compile this program. If you compile this program on a Windows, this executable file can only be understandable by Windows machine. Definitely Linux or a Mac will not be able to understand. There is no intermediate stage which can be read by any platform. There is no common language here. There is no common file which we are generating when we are compiling. Source code is directly being converted to an executable format. That is why this C language is a platform dependent, whereas the Java has a compiler which generates a bytecode from the source code. This bytecode can be readable by JVM. Since the JVM is dependent, it JVM knows how to convert a bytecode. So irrespective of the platform where you compile, where you create the program, that can be executable in other platforms. That is why the Java programming language is a platform independent, though JVM, JRE and JDK are platform dependent. Don't get confused. JVM, JRE, JDK are dependent. How come this becomes an independent? Hope you understand. You can answer for this question even if someone asks you in an interview. This is how Java is a platform independent and how it works. Have a program .java file and do a compiler using javac or class name. It generates a bytecode and the .java file is creates .java class file. This is a bytecode. When you run the Java test, this is the command to run your program. In the runtime, the JVM, it actually loads the source code provided in the runtime to execute, and bytecode will be converted to the machine understandable format to run that. And it's JVM's responsibility to trigger the main method. We have a public static void main. It triggers that method. So that is where your execution starts. JVM's responsibility to execute. It's his responsibility. It's JVM's responsibility to kickstart our program from the main method. You can ask me, can I change my main method name? Definitely not. And at the same time, I can say yes with some extra configuration. JVM's configuration is written in such a way, look for a main method and trigger from there. if you can update the JVM's configuration to provide like a Suresh instead of a main, I want to configure, I want to provide my name as main method. I can go to the JVM, I can override the file, remove the main and provide my name Suresh, and at that point the JVM knows, okay, I wanted to look for a Suresh. The method is Suresh and I don't want to look for a main, and it will identify the method is there and then it will run. So if you can make some changes on the JVM's configuration, you would be able to change the main method name. Unless you make the changes, you can't change. That is how the Java works and the different components and what is the use of each component, and how Java becomes a platform independent whereas C was a platform dependent. Hope you understand the concept, and if you have any questions, please feel free to comment in the comment section. Thanks for watching the video.